idea of opening the shoulders, okay? A couple of things. One is that you make a separation from your arm and your arm shoulder, and your shoulder consists of your scapula and your shoulder joint, right? The scapula and the clavicle. It's actually kind of a small thing, the shoulder girdle, okay? But you want to make a separation between your spinal column and your shoulder girdle arm, okay? And it's not that easy to do, all right? And so you start that mentality in other poses, not in a backbend, okay? And so, and it's for every pose that your arm is overhead, it's the same work, the same idea. You distinguish these three parts of your body, okay? Your rib cage, your scapula, and your arm lever. Okay, so that arm is a lever in a backbend, so it's a long, strong instrument, and that's partly why you want to straighten it, because you're trying to straighten that lever. Okay, and so you get these three parts playing off of each other whenever you reach your arms overhead. All right, so you want your rib cage to stay centered over your pelvis. Okay, so it's shaped like a cone, that rib cage. So it's narrow at the top. It's just a very small opening, the first rib circle, and then it widens out. Okay, and when you get to the bottom ribs. Okay, so for the most part, you want that cone of your rib cage level. Okay, and so you stabilize your torso to keep that level, and then your scapula, the shoulder blade, it goes in. Okay, so it's like a base plate. Let me show you one second. So if you look at this skateboard, this base plate, see that this is what holds the wheels on the truck, and that, okay, that's like your scapula, that base plate, and this is your back, and you want your scapula stamping onto your back. Whew. Wow. When you reach your arms overhead. All right, and then the third variable is your arm. All right, and so, and what will tend to happen is when if you want to open your shoulder, you've got to keep this rib cage and scapula very firm and neutral, and then lift your arm lever up against that resistance. Okay, and so you're trying to get the rib cage to stay down, the scapula to stay in, and the arm to go vertically up, like when you reach up in Surya Namaskara. Okay, but what will tend to happen is, especially if your shoulder is tight, you see, when you reach your arm up, the rib cage opens out, and the scapula will shift out of position. Okay, so you got to kind of anticipate when you reach your arms up. You set your ribs, set your whole torso gets firm, and then you reach up. Okay, and if you find resistance, then you've got to try to go against that resistance. So you could actually, when you reach up, you kind of go in front of vertical and then try to lengthen the arms. You see, that's the whole thing right there, is that the arm lever is the last piece. Okay, so you're going to try to lift the arm up against any resistance you find from your ribs or scapula. Okay, and if it's the opposite, if your arm easily goes beyond vertical and it doesn't disturb your torso, well, then the chances are you can straighten your arms in a back bend. Okay, but at the same time, if your arm can go beyond vertical, you are bracing it when it gets to vertical and stabilizing. Okay, and I'm just going to show you like downward dog. So like downward dog is an excellent, you can turn it into like a mini back bend and work on this stuff. Okay, and so you start with your torso, your ribs, okay, and so you're working this. My hands aren't in there. I have to back up.
Yeah, back up.
Okay, so when in downward dog, right? Remember, you guys, so in downward dog, you're making a diagonal line, one continuous from your pelvis through the torso, okay? And it's exactly like reaching your arms up. So the line is the same, but now you're going to be in downward dog, okay? And it gets trickier because you're upside down on a diagonal. All right, so you start here at your base, and you get the pelvis to neutral on the diagonal. Then your rib cage, okay? And then you start to work your arms. Okay, so now this is equivalent to this. Oh, she makes the appearance. Bunny, hello there. Okay, so there would be this, right, or that in downward dog. And so first you want the middle, and then and then that's where you start to work to separate your spine from your arm lever. Okay, so you're kind of trying to make the spine dip down if you want to turn downward dog into a back bend. Okay, let me try to show you. Okay, so first you're looking to get the very true line. And then you dip it down. Okay? Okay, so that's number one. So you're trying to straighten your arms in a back bend, you're trying to increase the range of motion of your shoulder joint whenever you reach your arms overhead. Okay, so that's what we just did. Now we'll move on to the actual back bend part. Okay, Joy is going to come in here. One really nice way to open the shoulder in a back bend is, go ahead, Joy, lay down on your back, is to take the head balance foundation with your arms and then lift your head and really press against any resistance you find. Okay, here we go. Come up. So what you do is you come up, you start regular, and come up to your head, and then take the head balance foundation. All right, and then your legs are exactly like they are. You want them in Urdhva Dhanurasana. So walk the feet back the tiny bit. No, the other way. Forward, sorry. Okay, and right. Okay, so you're looking for the vertical knee over the ankle. And then go into your chest. Plant your forearms. And boom, open the chest against any resistance you find. And you do it with your head on the ground and your head off the ground. So go ahead, lift your head off. Yeah. Okay, and so part of what you're doing is bracing your arm, but you're trying to make that distinction between your spine and your arm shoulder. Okay, so you're sucking the spine forward like a bow, trying to imagine bowing your spine, like pulling back the bowstring of a bow to shoot an arrow. All right, so that's an excellent thing to do to straighten your arms in a back bend. All right, next is to take blocks at the wall. Okay, so you can focus on your shoulder work by going to the wall. So you see the blocks, they're just blocks against the wall. All right, and then you can do it many different ways. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, so you can put your whole hand on that block. Put the whole hand. You can put the edge. You can work on the edge. You can turn the block and put part of your hand. You can turn the block like that. You can turn it like that. You can put two. Okay, so many different possibilities for how you can do it. You can even turn it so your pinky finger is at the wall. So you'll come up like this, and that can help you straighten your arms. Okay, so now she'll do it. So suppose you're like that, right? Your elbows are bent. So one thing is you can go up on your heels, lift your heels, and lift against any resistance you find. Okay, and then come down. All right, then turn it like that. And make it further apart, further away. Yeah, even more. That might be a little bit too far. There you go. Okay, now take that pinky. So you can do it with the pinky at the wall.
On top of the block?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, move that out a little bit. Okay. All right, and then up you come. All right, so that, right there, this is at the wall. Okay, so there's that. And then next you can, so one thing, you guys, you have to be very patient with this. Okay, very patient. Okay, this can take months, long years. Okay, and so you're breathing, you're slowly probing. Okay, not jerky movements, not too harsh. Slowly, persistently, with breath. Okay, and okay, and you're really trying. What the goal is to get any bit of spinal extension, any bit of opening of your chest. Okay. All right, and then so last is you can take your hands on the wall, and you can take them anywhere, any level, right at the, start at the base, and play with different stations along the wall. Okay, come up. Yeah, and so you're doing your very best to get as tall as possible, and then chest to the wall. And keep your leg work. Okay, so the legs, knee vertical over the ankle. Legs braced and weighted, and then chest, and brace the arms. All right, so there you have it. Some tips for opening your shoulders and straightening your arms in a back bend.